the 9th. Can you hear me? It's June the 9th, the time is 6 o'clock, and call the meeting to order. Before we formally start the meeting, just in case there's anybody here that hasn't heard, there have been 2 very serious fires, one on Summit, a daughter and a father. Their house was almost completely destroyed, and yeah, I mean there's just a few beams standing up. And one on Hidden Creek Drive, Darrell and Jean Watkins. There's a mother, a father, 3 boys, 9, 11 and 14. They have some dogs which are being kept by their across the road neighbors. Holly by the Sea are collecting anything and everything. If you want specific sizes, Pam is coordinating this effort. They particularly need some toiletries, I understand. But really they need everything. So as good neighbors, I'm sure we can help out where we can. I mean, this is pretty devastating. I can't imagine anything much worse than that. Yeah, it's Pam's coordinating. It's being collected here.
Is it on the website?
I don't know.
I put it on.
Is it on the website? It is.
Okay, I'm going to take a roll call now. Jan Frank? Here. Bill Crowd?
Here.
Beth Quigg? Here. Alex Crawford here. Mary Landon absent. April Salazar?
I have a problem with Mary being absent after her display at the meet and greet and how she did that profane gesture. I have a problem that she can't come here and listen to what she did to that lady that she did it to. So it's so convenient that she's not here.
Ma'am, please
What?
sit down.
No.
She is if you wish to speak, come to the
Okay,
podium.
I will. I was here, I saw it. You have a board member, for Pete's sakes, that's acting like a 2-year-old. She flipped off Deanna 4 times when at the meet and greet. And she's part of your board and you're not disciplining her? That makes me really upset, and it makes me really sad that you guys are upset about a fire, which I'm upset about, but you're not going to mention that one of your boards, the vice president, did such a despicable thing during the meet and greet. I want you to address that. You owe everybody here to address that.
Ma'am, if you'll please just wait 1 minute.
Okay, I will wait 1 minute.
This is in litigation and we are not allowed to speak about it. Mary has been instructed not to attend. Thank you, ma'am. Please sit down.
But we'd like your opinion on how you feel about it. I think it's important. How do you feel about this? You're the president.
I have no opinion. I was not there that night. Please sit down,
Conveniently,
ma'am.
you weren't there. This whole thing is just
Please
unbelievable.
sit down. Was the meeting duly noticed? Yes. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Actually, I would like to amend the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda to include a discussion about new information we have about the Greenbelt.
Sit on my
Can I have a
lap.
second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, can I have,
Excuse me, Alex. I have some questions before we move.
okay.
I don't know if I have to do the motion.
Okay, just say. I want to ask about items.
Can you talk to the mic? Thanks.
I want to ask about items. I got 2 different types of questions. One is that the first one is on items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Wait a minute. 4, 5,
6, 7, 8, and 9.
8, 9. Okay.
And on this, these type of items have started coming up on agendas And I'm starting to question why, for example, we need to approve for our GM that she can buy umbrellas for the pool. I'm a little dismayed at that. One other one, we had to approve that we could replace light bulbs. So I'm just wondering if we could somehow, possibly I could make some type of an amendment to address these types of items. They seem to me, overall, to be normal, everyday operation things for the most part. And I can't see always taking up meetings to do these things. Of course, another thing is the Ford Focus, and that's on the Gabs Robin for $8,700. I just don't see, I mean, we hire somebody, knowledgeable, educated, experienced, knowledgeable, competent, honest, to handle these things for us, pay her pretty darn well, and then I just feel like everything she tries to do, she's got to ask us if it's okay, and I'm not so sure that that's what we should be doing.
Well, previously what used to happen, these kind of things used to come up in the GM's report and we voted on them, but since we're becoming a little bit more formal, we're putting them in the agenda as opposed to just voting for them on the fly. That's why they're in the agenda.
I personally don't think they belong in there. She could just report on them. I don't see any problem with GM reporting on doing her job. That it's what she's supposed to be doing. She's very good at it, I think, and we should let her do it. And not always have to vote on every one of these types of things. I mean, I think she's pretty competent. I think she's honest. She's educated. She's experienced. Can't we let her do these and then just let us know in her GM's report? I mean, certainly, I expect that she also has good judgment. I'm pretty darn sure of that, too. And I think she would know enough not to do something wild and crazy.
Well, going forward, we can, I'm not quite sure what your limit of spending is. Yeah, right. Yeah, so these things actually do have to be approved, and we used to approve them before. We would vote for a few $100s worth of items, but we would have them in the GM report. We'd make a motion. But we then were called for making motions that were not on the agenda, so now they get put on the agenda.
Yeah, I think it's set up to it. I think it's something that's got to be addressed. I don't recall doing it like you're saying.
Now,
Let me ask you a question, Jan. Do you feel like the Ford Focus, the replacement of how many thousands of dollars that is, that we don't have to vote on that?
Well, I think it's in the Gabs Robin budgeted at $8,700. She's got a trade-in value of it, so we could spend less than that, or we could add it and spend a little more than that. I think she's capable of making a decision.
I have to ask you, is that in the Holly by the Sea budget?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes, the Gabs Robin. That's part of our budget. It goes into our budget.
Is there a line item that says that the Ford Focus or the vehicles?
The Gabs Robin's is a report that was given, I believe it's yearly, and it spells out for us each year what items we should anticipate having money for, and this was one of them. So long as it's in Gabs Robin, especially if it's in there for this year, or even if it was in there for last year, we didn't spend it. If it's in there for next year, that's different. But if it was in last year, we didn't spend it. Yeah, and if it's in there this year and we need to spend it, we budgeted for it. In my mind, we budgeted.
So what you're saying is items 4 through 8, we just need to, that should be in the GM's report and we should just approve it?
Yes.
Well, that's not what we've done before. We've had a motion for every item.
Well, I guess maybe I'm wrong, but I don't recall.
Really, we have. Because, and I pointed that out.
I've been at meetings since October. I don't recall. To me, this is something that we just started doing.
Because we have a lot of items that need replacement.
Well, we always do. We always do.
And we have, in the past, we have just done it on the spur of the moment in the GM report. We haven't had it formally written down. We've got it on the agenda now.
I got one question real quick. In April's contract, it specifies what her spending limitations are, and if it's a budgetary item, I think you have some right to do some things. Isn't that in her contract? I'm looking at it right now. There's a section C, spending limitations. It specifies a single non-budgeted item under $1,000 without board approval, or any budgeted item it looks like can be done by her. Is that not part of the contract you guys wrote for her? Is that not part of your contract?
There's another section of the contract that says that I have a $3,000 annual limit if it's not an emergency.
Right.
Anything that falls within that category. So I only have $3,000 that I can spend without their approval.
Okay.
Isn't a lot for day to day, in my opinion.
That's fair. All right, I'm just
So,
curious.
I don't know.
So how about we just proceed for now?
Unless you would like to make a motion that we, 4 through 9, that we just accept them.
Yeah, I'd like to amend the agenda to say that we,
Well, I think we've got to look at certainly 6, we've got to look at that one. And then we've got to decide whether it's a sale or trade-in or what. for
see,
those.
the dock repairs, I mean, we have to repair that dock. We have to. You know?
Right, but we have to discuss the proposal.
Okay, but I want to make a motion that we, accept all these in one fell swoop. I'd like to make that change to the agenda. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Let's vote on the first let's vote on the first amended one first. We haven't voted on the first, you guys motioned and
The
seconded.
green belt.
You guys first and second motioned the green belt.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I thought we did.
No, we didn't vote on it.
Yeah, we did, but it was 4-0.
Yeah, I remember saying yes.
Anybody else?
All right, okay, all right, so did you get my,
Okay, so we're
okay.
amending the agenda with the
Okay.
green belt.
And I have another one, this is, I'll start as a question, number 2, discussion, decision to proceed with legal action. I'm glad that we're going to vote as a board, but I'm confused, why aren't we doing that in private? You know, I don't see how we can discuss it openly, I don't know how to say this, without giving away our hand. You know,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's just a decision to proceed, the details can be in a closed meeting. So it's like, do we send,
How can she
copies
make
to
a
the-
decision if she doesn't know the details?
Well, she'll know enough of the details to be able to make a decision, but the implementation, the plan, should be in a closed meeting.
So,
Are we sure? I don't know, it just seems,
let's-
again, I'm glad we're voting on it.
Jan, could we back up a little bit? Your motion was for items 4 through 9
Yeah.
to be just included in the general manager's report that she's going to do this. I second that motion.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. No, I vote aye.
Okay, those opposed, nay. And I say that because I think some of these details we do need to look at, close. But it passed 3-1. So items 4 through 9 will be discussed in the GM's report. Okay? So now may I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Can I make a comment? We have the open forum before you adjourn. I don't know if that's a typo or if that was meant to be that way, but we got adjourn and then open forum.
Right, that's correct. That's the way it is actually in the covenant.
No, it isn't. It's not even in the covenant.
The open forum.
So you're gonna adjourn the meeting, the official meeting where you make decisions, and then you're gonna have an open forum so we can talk amongst ourselves and you don't hear us out. Or any of our concerns.
No, we will hear your concerns.
After the official meeting adjourns.
Until the time we have to clear the area, yes. Yes, until the time it's going to be.
So you're gonna adjourn and then go open forum, that's the question I'm asking.
Yes.
That's
yes.
never happened.
If there's time, obviously. I mean, we're not sitting here in the heat till 10 o'clock.
If we have to, we have to. It's important.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
And the amended agenda is adding the green belt.
Adding the green belt and grouping these items in the GM report.
We've already had a motion and a vote on grouping the items into the,
Okay, but we need to vote on the amended agenda, which is those things. and the
Okay.
rest of the agenda.
Okay.
Well, again, we're sure number 2, we're supposed to be doing that one
Yes.
publicly. We know this for a
Yes,
fact.
I know that. So may I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
I second. Those in favor of approving the amended agenda, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, the amended agenda is approved 4-0. Come to the approval of the minutes. Are we clicking through to this? I may have actually missed. Yeah, I think I. Thank you for me. No? Okay, yeah, I did, May the 12th. My apologies. It should be April the 27th, May the 6th, May the 12th, May the 22nd. My apologies for missing it out of the PowerPoint. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes? The minutes in the agenda.
I make a motion we approve the minutes April 27th, May 6th, May 12th, May 22nd.
Second?
I second.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The minutes of April the 22nd, 27th, May the 6th, May the 12th, May the 22nd are approved 4-0. Okay, and now we come to the GM report. I just want to introduce this before we start. April, when she arrived, she made a list of the things that were going to need attention. There was also a list made in October, the middle of October, of items that needed attention. That it was agreed with management at the time, and Bill spearheaded that effort, that certain items would be completed by the end of the year and certain items would be completed by the end of March. I think in the interest of the membership knowing exactly where we are and, you know, what a Mount Everest April has to deal with, it's important to know those things. So April.
I want to go through my preliminary first. How's everybody? We've got a couple of regular items. I know we have a lot of questions about where we are staffing wise, because we're still not completely fully staffed for everything. That the last manager's report I gave you guys an update. I'm just going to basically go off of what I said there. So the last meeting, currently we have 4 full-time front desk and 3 part-time. I consider that fully staffed now because it gives us the complete coverage for all of our weekend shifts, our morning and our night shifts. So that portion of the staff at this point in time is complete. We had 1 full-time custodial and 1 part-time. Currently we have 2 full-times and they alternate shifts for 7 days a week coverage. We have a lot of things going on at the beach house and things like that, so they come in and take care of those events as well. Maintenance. Currently we have 2 full-time and 2 part-time. This has been ongoing since I started. So we originally started with 2. Gordon resigned, and last week I had Kenny, who was with us, resign. So we're currently today sitting at 2 full-time and 2 part-time. I have 2 interviews this week to fill that additional full-time position. At that time, we're going to, put in place a schedule that we have and see if that works for what the need is here. Okay? We are still fully staffed with lifeguards for the summer. June 1st began the lifeguards being on property full-time throughout the day. As far as summer camp program goes, we're doing really well there. Our attendance actually went up from our last meeting. We added an additional 26 kids. We had a staff meeting that I held on the 15th last month. I have those agendas and notes. If anybody's interested in kind of what we discussed, I'm okay with posting those for you guys. We had a front desk staff meeting 6-2. You can see what we had there. I attended the youth staff counselor meeting last night to go over kind of where they were at and the things that they needed. and we're getting together some more organizational things for them. So that's kind of housekeeping items for you guys. As you know, we did the annual mail out stuff. All of that went through. Everything did get mailed out on time, stuffed in envelopes. I know there was a lot of questions on the HOL number. Someone said they had to go dumpster diving, and I apologize. There should have been additional pages to explain it, but with the amount of candidates we had, we were trying to keep the cost from doubling. Once you hit 9 pages, then the cost doubles in postage and everything. So the HOL numbers that you need for your ballot and proxy to be valid, we can get here. We can get it from the accounting office for you. So if anyone has questions on that, we're going to go ahead and post that again so that people know. You know, if you have a question on that, even replacement ballots, if the lady hers got wet, we have copies of that here. Okay. Landscape contract from Bowen was fulfilled. I did have to have them go back out. They had to make 3 additional trips to finish up some areas that they missed. We did receive all the required paperwork from them, the insurance, the work comp, and the W-9. Fitness Master came out on 5/28 and repaired both of the treadmills that were approved to be fixed. We did find that some of the machines have worn out keypads, and if people push buttons, the machine will give an error and it will shut off. And a lot of times what happens with the front desk is if it shuts off, we throw an out of order sign on it. What I'm finding with that and things like the TVs is that people are just throwing out of order sign on it instead of doing kind of a shut it off, reset it, checklist kind of thing. I went into the gym. There were 3 of the 5 TVs that were out. You know, all I had to do was go in and figure out what remote went to what, label those, and reprogram them to the dish. Take away the remotes that people didn't need to use, so we didn't monkey with that. So that's also kind of what's happening with these treadmills. I see a lot of times people are saying, oh, another one's out, another one's out. Well, it's not necessarily that they're all broken at one time. There are some user error things, and then there are some things that we need to fix that are minor things like keypad replacements, which I'll look into to make sure that we get those things up to standard for you guys. Gold Breeze Electric came out and completed the replacement of the 6 lights at the tennis court. That job originally at the last board meeting was approved for up to $12,000. They did come in at $958, so we were below that quote for that project. We did a maintenance shop inspection. We had a lot of things that I've had to go through and look at. We're dealing with some equipment items as far as tires that need to be replaced, you know, things for wear and tear with pressure washers and edgers and weed eaters and things like that. So we're getting all that back up and running for inventory purposes and so that our guys are good to go. We had a bunch of handrails around the pool deck that weren't secured with brackets. Those have been taken care of. The trees have been trimmed in the front. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Our new maintenance guys have been awesome about starting that landscape up front and getting the pine straw put down and trimming up our bushes and our trees. We have a bunch of upcoming items, but I'm just going to go over a few for you. Obviously, you know that we have an AC repair issue. I do want to give you, since I'm not going to be running through that during the new business, to let you know that the AC unit that we're discussing is a 13-year-old unit. It's a 30-ton. There are some key components to that are covered under the contract. When you get to the back of the contract, there's some verbiage that shows that the parts that we need to keep the warranty aren't covered, so that's why we had to go out for a bid on that. The hang up with all of that is this model in 2012 is stated to be not manufactured anymore, as well as the parts. 2020, I meant that. So what happens is all of these parts have to come from the manufacturer, and that's a 12 to 15 business day process. We did ask the company to go out and try to find different makes in hopes to get it in sooner, but right now this is what we have to deal with until there's parts come in to fix that one. Our other zones are not affected by this. It is just this cafe area and the 2 front offices and the locker rooms right here. We have some other items under investigations, which I believe are probably plumbing issues for the pipes that come into the building. You can see we have a little stand-up caution thing right here. We're looking into that. Front desk check-in, we have some things that we have to get replaced and repaired. There's a gun up there that's not working. There's a credit card machine that's been out of order for a while. So some of these things need to be brought back up to standard, and I intend to do that as soon as possible. I just want to throw a couple things out to note just for you guys. There are a lot of questions on when we mow certain areas and how we do that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together kind of a schedule for you. The hardest thing is coordinating sometimes we have a beach house when someone's having a wedding and we have a wedding instead of rented and we have a big weekend with a campground, we try to make sure that those areas are cleaned up. So sometimes they may be doing that instead of, you know, cutting a foreclosed lot or something. So we're gonna try to make sure that when we have our full staff, that everything is always at least in a good state. I know right now it's not been that way. I apologize for me, we're still in transition to get set. As well as the tennis court area. So I think that we're gonna just set up a time, a scheduled time to mow that area. It's really hard to predict when someone may come, and obviously they don't want dirt and stuff all up on them while they're playing tennis, okay? All right, so that is my quick recap of regular items. As Alex said, when I got here, I did an initial property walk. To tell you the truth, I had about 4 pages of stuff. For me, I'm not pointing the blame on anyone, and obviously it's really uncomfortable for me, to be honest with you, to come up here and say, well, I found all these pages of things, because I don't know how everything was run. I don't know what was approved, how it was approved, where it went through if it wasn't approved. So it's not for me to point fingers, it's just to say this is what I saw, this is what I found. Then I was brought an October grounds committee spreadsheet, and against that, you know, I had notated items as well. So that's kind of what we're going to go through now as far as the checklist that was given then, to show you that there are a lot of still back things that we have to catch up with, as well as the items that I found. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so some of the things were normal things. Install the dome, you guys know that was done, and taken down. You have to winterize all the pipes. Some of them were done, and some of them weren't. So we're going to flip through, because they also had the task to build boxes to insulate these things. So some of them were built, some of them were great. We still have some that we have to take care of. So these are on the list of things. These are the mounting brackets for a lot of the places that came back to the building. They were not connected, they were off. So we had to get new brackets for them because they were rusted and away from the building. Okay, the handrails is the big thing for me. That was on the list. I know that's probably not a big thing for everyone, but this is a very nice facility, and sanding and painting the handrails should really be an annual thing. So it was on their list. It was also on my list. We have some rusted out hinges and things that have been replaced. This is just to kind of go over that. There are a lot of places that were cleared through, from my understanding, eager beaver for the tree lines and things along the fences. Those weren't done, and we'll line those up to be done, but those were on the list of things that I guess are routine maintenance that didn't get completed. These fences are supposed to be painted. That was on the list of things that need to be done. They did complete the installation of the roll-down doors at the tennis shed. They did complete the lattice fencing around the pump station. Our area out here on the list for the swing set and the playground area should have been framed out, is what it says on here. They were supposed to be framed out, all the weeds pulled, treated, and new sand put in. That wasn't done. We'll have to get that done, as well as this area here. They did complete the painting of the back houses out by the campgrounds and the showers. We do have left to paint these floors and pressure wash out here. The landscape was completed out there. We had a lot of our entryways that were on the list to be completed for trimming and new mulch and new pine straw. We're having to do that now as well at our entrances. So those are those. The shuffleboard was on the list. I'm not really sure if they just repaint those. On here it says to demolish it and make a cornhole, or to repaint it. You know, there are a couple different options. I don't know why that's on the list really. Paint, sand, the locker room doors wasn't completed. Then we come to the dock, which this was October with the dock. They did kind of, in my opinion, not the greatest repair, but that's me. It was split here, had to be reconnected to the T section. That $800 proposal was approved and completed in March. Over the Memorial Day weekend, I came up here twice because we had an incident where someone had pushed the pilings from the deck into the water. And those will be approved. This is what it looks like right now due to those pilings, and I'll get that taken care of. The umbrellas around the pool, they need to be replaced. I'll take care of that as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rachel.
up to May 31st, operating cash, $991,783. Undesignated funds, $617,260. Reserve funds, $628,212. Capital improvement money, $318,174. Add those two numbers together, not all three of them, but these two. Total reserve cash available, $946,384. I think that's these two things.
Peter Zane, 2861 PGA. Up until February, I think it was, monthly financial reports were being posted to the website. Our financial reports for March, April, now available, and will they be posted to the website?
The March one, we expect to be ready Friday, if not certainly by Wednesday, and once I get it and I approve it, I have to see it first. Then she'll put it on then she'll post it, and as soon as that one gets completed, she is working on the April one, and we expect to have that out within, a week or so after that, certainly before the annual meeting.
Thank you.
We have no report from the Senate VP?
No.
No report from the Secretary? Okay. I have several things. I called, and I know Frank Myers will be speaking in more detail of this. I called Frank Faber this morning. Actually, Daniel Corliss, who was our contact with Faber Engineering, has left Faber Engineering, and we now have Evan, I think it's Robertson. They have completed the as-built and the survey. They're working on the capacity calculations for the DEP, the conveyancing for the pipes and ponds for the Santa Rosa County, and the stormwater management calculations for the DEP. They anticipate 2 weeks until they're able to take this whole package to the DEP and county. And what they're going to ask for is a permit to cover the whole site, as is. I asked Frank kind of what feel he had for the timeline of that. He said it depends on the DEP. Hopefully the DEP is as tired of us as we are at the DEP. But he said it could take from 30 to 90 days. We'll just hope it takes the shorter end of that. Just so we're really clear on this, the route the engineers have gone is to just ask for permits as is, because Holly by the Sea really had a history of no permits. I mean, there were not permits to satisfy the county or the DEP back in 2013, and had that project received as much attention from membership, we probably would have been doing this in 2013. I mean, all this is kind of moot now. We want to move on. We want to get out from the DEP and Santa Rosa County. We're going to add our proposed other repairs like the jogging trail when it goes to the county, and then we should be fully permitted and be able to move forward for that. I called John Bordline last week for an update to the Billy Williams saga, and there was really no update at that time. They were, as you may or may not know, Billy Williams is trying to sell 2 parcels of Greenbelt, and John, on behalf of Holly by the Sea, is insisting, before that sale goes through, that not only the delinquent taxes be paid on those 2 parcels, but the delinquent taxes be paid on all of the parcels. As you also may or may not know, this is the 3 years with no taxes being paid on these parcels. And Jan contacted the property appraiser for the county so that, you know, after 3 years, property can be sold off at the courthouse steps with the term for the taxes. But you know, Jan contacted them, and we will know before this happens. But you know, there's a history with Billy Williams. We got new information this afternoon at 3:30 from John, and we'll discuss that in the new business. I went on Friday to the Ballet by the Sea, which was a really very nice event. Those of you that were here in time to see the Good Things PowerPoint presentation, we'll see the kids dancing. I think it will be a nice thing to add to the website some pictures for, you know, from some of these events. I certainly, over the months, have gathered together a whole bunch of good things, flyers and pictures of the facility. And I propose to put that on a thumb drive and give that to Ray. And I have to say, you know, I'm not the taker of the film. Anything we've got, any pictures we've got, we owe to a combination of Andre, but mainly Denise Myers. So I'm now going to have the committee reports. Can we please note that is on there? Do you have anything?
Kelly Smith in the back. My only thing is, yes, I think it's on there.
It's on.
My only thing is, I see they got the new website up and running somewhat, and you have VAC and ACC lumped together. Is there any way that we can break out the two so that our information is separate? People don't have to search through tons of their stuff to get to ours.
I'm sure we can. We'll note that.
Thank you.
Social committee?
Denise Myers. Social committee information that we have, as Alex mentioned, we had the Ballet by the Sea annual recital. It was fabulous. We had a lot of people that attended, and it was just wonderful. This is the same ballet group that performed for us at the Santa's Breakfast. And what was amazing was after that event, 8 more people joined the ballet team. And so it's grown and grown, and it's a fabulous thing. So one for all the parents that have little ones. It's a great organization, and the event turned out very, very well. So for our next upcoming event, we have the summer camp cookout. It's on Friday, the June 19th at noon here in the Rec Center at the cafe. We will be providing barbecue, buns, beans, chips, and drinks, $4 a person. So especially the camp kids or anybody that can attend at noon on a Friday, we'd love to have you come up here. Then after that, we have the Independence Day cookout, which is going to be Sunday, July 5th, and we purposely planned it one day off from July 4th so that people could do their July 4th celebration with their family and normal plans, and then just decide to make the weekend even bigger. So we have added the event on that Sunday. It's going to be huge, so I'd love for everyone to put it on your calendar. It's going to start at 2 o'clock. We plan on it going until 5. I hope we can get all the fun in 3 hours, because we do have a lot of really neat events. We're going to have music, horseshoes, cornhole, crochet, tug of war, 50-50 raffle. So if anyone wants to donate anything, we appreciate it. We're talking to the fire station about getting the fire truck out there for the kiddos, the whole bit. So it's going to be a big fair style event. We will be providing the meat, the utensils, and the drinks, and then any attendees can help us with side items and desserts to bring. So also we're looking at face painters, so if anyone likes to paint the faces, that would be great. Now, one thing that we'd like to do is we would like to open up the doors as an opportunity so that the young people of Holly by the Sea can have an opportunity to build their community hours. If they're building a resume or trying to get a college scholarship or anything like that, they can contact us.
Sorry, what did you say?
For anybody in Holly by the Sea that has children, their young children that want to build their resume for college applications, college scholarships, or anything like that, we're opening our doors that they can help us with the events, and especially the July 4th celebration of the Independence Day on July 5th. If they help us work the event, we'll write them a letter to say that they actually officially did do some community hours for Holly by the Sea, and that can help them. So it kind of gives a double duty purpose for that event, which would be pretty cool. So anybody that has children that need to do that and build hours, this would be a great opportunity. We would certainly appreciate the help.
Do you have an age limit or?
No. And I know a lot of
A
kids.
lower age limit.
Huh?
A lower age.
A lower, not higher. It can go up to 110.
No,
you know,
I'm
it's
saying
the
for the
lowest
children.
5. Yeah.
For the children.
No, there's not a limit. If they help, it would be great. I know when I raised my sons, I started them real super young and built a resume and kept a log. And it made a difference when they were trying to get into college, because they ended up, it's amazing the list you can build and the doors it opens for scholarships. So I was thinking about that, but there's no age limit. We'll have different functions where we can put the younger ones at safe areas, you know, to help out, and then the older ones, they can be tougher with us on maybe the game refereeing or something, you know. All right, so then contact me at community.dmyers@gmail.com for anyone that's interested or needs any information on the event. Okay, following July, our August event is the Flick and Float on Saturday, August 8th. It will be here at the cafe in the rec center. And outside, we're going to select a movie that will be good for all ages, so it's good for the kiddos and the adults to come. And adults, it'll be a great break, so you can let the kids see a movie and you can breathe a little bit. $3 a person, hot dogs, chips, popcorn, and drinks. And we're getting this in before school starts, so it'll be a nice end into the summer months. Then we swing into September. Saturday, September the 26th is our yard and craft sale. So anybody in Holly by the Sea that wants to be a vendor at this event, we already have it established at the front desk where you can sign up. So you can be on the list. And if you need table rentals, let us know the whole bit. So that chart is ready for people. We already have had a few sign up. So it's never too early. Just go ahead and come on in and get everything ready for your yard sale or your craft sale.
Denise, by any chance, would you talk to the craft club that Holly by the Sea has and let them know about this?
No, that's a great idea. Yeah, do you have the names of people with that group?
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm sure they would love to do it.
Yeah, I'll give you her information.
I would love that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Denise, is this limited to just Holly by the Sea, or?
Yeah, the vendors are from Holly by the Sea.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we can support them, and that's with the yard sale or the craft sale.
How about the participants, are they?
The participants, it could be varied. We don't have a checkpoint at the gate to show a pass, you know, but the vendors, the ones that are the participants in the event are Holly by the Sea members.
So is this going to be
Yeah, you can bring your family or friends with you
Is this
to
going to
do
be
the
advertised
shopping.
outside of Holly by the Sea to attract other Navarre residents?
Yeah, the shoppers can be Navarre residents. Yeah, but the vendors are Holly by the Sea members. Does that make it clear?
Yeah.
So shoppers, yeah, bring a million shoppers. More money for the members. Okay, now we go into the Halloween, Saturday, October 31st. We will have the trick or treat up here, so we'll provide this area for trick or treating like we did this past year. So it can add on to the house-to-house trick or treating, or just strictly up here if you want it to be super safe. And we will provide that. We have had it requested that the Artisan Alley event comes back this year, so we have added that on. since the last meeting, and that will be Saturday, November the 7th. And there will be the Veterans Potluck on November 11th, so just a few days later, we're going to do that. Of course, that is a wonderful event. And then the Santa's Breakfast, Saturday, December 12th. Thank you.
I'm gonna get the flyers put on the website and then Ray can mark them on the calendar.
Okay.
So if you've got any other flyers.
Yeah, we have, in fact, we're just finalizing today the one for the cookout, and we are almost finished with
Well, I
the
think
July
you've
one.
got everything up to the craft. But you mentioned some other ones.
Oh, yeah. Now, the flyers for the next two events are almost finalized. The next ones, I'll keep giving it to you as we get them done.
Okay.
Yeah. The ones I made for the slides were not the official signs that you'll see on the advertising part.
Thank you, Brianna.
You bet.
Okay, long-range planning.
Yvonne's gonna do that since she collected all the data for the survey.
How are y'all tonight? Good?
Alrighty, here we go. Took a survey, about 80 people. Can you guys hear me? Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. About 80 people replied, and we broke it down. Did you provide them with the copies?
No, I'm gonna email it to her.
Okay. She will email you the results.
Speak louder. Maybe it's just me. I can't hear.
I
Well, the sound of that thing, yeah.
Is that better?
I mean, you're competing against this wall thing over here.
Try not to scream. So the survey was done, and the results, based on the people who replied or responded to it, the number one item that was would like to be seen is a dedicated walking and jogging trails and bike paths, more sidewalks, and code enforcement. So, in our meeting, we discussed that, and we would like to recommend, there used to be a jogging trail in the back 40. So in conjunction with the improvements that are going to be made, we would like to have a jogging trail incorporated into any of the plans with regards to the back 40, if that's possible. That was one of the recommendations that we would like to propose to you.
Yeah.
The second-
I think that's actually being added
Good.
for the county, yeah.
Okay. And then the second motion that we made to recommend was to either have the board or the general manager contact the appropriate county official to schedule a workshop for MSBU's with regards to sidewalks. That's not something that Holly by the Sea does. I know that Holly by the Sea News a couple of years ago ran an article on MSBU's, but I don't think that people realize that that is something that is self-initiated. So if you could get with them, and I can get you their names, April, to maybe have a workshop to tell people how to go about getting a sidewalk on their street, how the MSBU process works, that might clear up some of that. With regards to code enforcement, obviously that would just mean more personnel. And I contacted County Commissioner Rob Williamson. We have 7 parcels that are designated for parks. They're on the county property appraisers as parks. And I asked him how to go about beginning the process of developing them into parks. He responded to me this afternoon, and he said that there's a holding, that the county's in a holding pattern with regards to developing any county land pending the water mitigation study, and there's also a community access road study that's going to be beginning at the end of this year. So some of those parcels, not all, kind of fall within that, what would be the community access road. So I will email him back and see what we can do for the parcels that don't fall within that perimeter as far as the community access road. And we would also encourage, or we recommended that maybe an IT person is hired as opposed to having a county personnel manage the website and other IT functions. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you. And I have the engineering committee.
I'm with the engineering committee. Everything Alex said was spot on as far as where we're going with the engineering survey and that. I would like to expound on a couple things. With the DEP and the county, they're looking at two different areas. The DEP is more worried about environmental protection. How's the water treated as it comes from the north and goes to the south? Treated means slowing it down, stopping the water so that it's not all just rushing to the south. The good news is that the preliminary findings by favor are that we have no issues at all with the DEP and the treatment of the water. So they said unless there's something that's really odd that the DEP is going to see, they don't see any problems. And I walked out with favor engineers and the rest of the engineering committee, and I agree, we have a lot of flat area out here that slows the water down, and I don't see there being any issues with the DEP. County looks a little bit kind of the other way, is how do we get rid of the water? So the DEP is looking to slow the water down and treat it. The DEP says, okay, we need pipes to get it out of here. Once it's here and it's clean, what it's supposed to do, we need to have it go. So it's going to take a little bit longer to even that part's not done. And then look at the sizing of the pipes, what shape they're in, are they collapsed, are they full of sand, or what? What do we need to do to make that come up to speed? Once these two reports go out in different directions, there's two different types of approval. We're looking for the permit from DEP, and I don't see any reason why we won't get that. And this sets a baseline, so everything we do in the future is going to be based on this. And Alex is right too. There's not been anything. Digging through old plans, we had guys digging through buckets of old plans out here, and they're just nothing. So we get the baseline done, and then we'll have that forever, and be able to work from that. The long-range plans, if we have an idea of anything we put out there, jogging path, 19 more tennis courts, or whatever we're going to do, we need to put them on this plan now as possible future expansion. That'll make things a lot easier in the future. So we have some ideas, we have them, and again, it's just taking a page and putting them on the plan as possible future. It's not design, it's not throwing money for it, it's just saying we may do this. The parking lot. A lot of concern about the parking lot. The reason why the parking lot, I don't know why it wasn't fixed in the beginning. I don't know about that. But once DEP got involved, everything stopped. We can't do anything without a permit. We can't get involved as far as fixing the parking lot where it should be. Right now, if we don't increase the size of the parking lot, don't add another space, we should be fine to go fix what we need to fix. However, we need to have the as-bills done, and they were just completing those this week, so we can see what caused the problems for the erosion and caused the parking lot to fail. Once we look at that, and the engineers get involved in that, and we can decide whether it's just going in, taking off what's there and repairing it, or whether it's going to be adding more contours to the side and having the water go a different direction. So I would say we're very close to being able to make some engineering decisions and going to get that parking lot fixed. I think that's about all I have on the engineering side. Do you have any questions?
When I spoke to Favor, they were going to include the beach replenishment, the jogging trail, the RV park pads, little road. Is there anything else?
That's what we're going to look back for the long-range committee and you guys, and anything else you can think of. Now's the time to put it in there. Okay. And I can take it to them, or Favor's open to, we'll just put whatever you guys have in there now. Once we get that in there, we can look at long-range development and do engineer plans for each one, and they'll have a permit. The permit process then should be very easy.
And will you just confirm before this all goes to the DEP and the county that these things are there?
Yes. Well, we'll sit down with them and look at everything before they go to the regulatory agencies.
Have you had an opportunity to interface with the long-range planning committee?
We haven't talked. No.
No, we don't.
Okay. Now's a good time for us to talk. That's right. So it's time to do that.
Do you have a question?
A comment. as far as longer range planning, I believe we were looking at a oversized picnic pavilion replacement. And along with that, I would suggest looking at additional paved parking down at the south end of the park. Because when there's a full-up event at the beach house, it fills up the existing parking lot. And if we have a big picnic pavilion event, that we're parking on the grass, and there's signs that say don't park on the grass. So additional things to be thrown into the drainage plan would be an oversized picnic pavilion and additional parking.
Would that make a problem with the additional parking if it's down by the beach house?
Again, each one's you're gonna look at each one, but additional parking may just be putting gravel or some kind of a paver or some kind of a impervious surface out there, so it
It's not
wouldn't.
saying up here, it's saying down.
Right, down there. So anywhere, all DEP is worried about is, the main thing we're about is permeability. So if you have all concrete, it runs off really fast and that's bad. If you have grass and you have a surface that hurts water, that's good. So if we do extra parking down there with a surface besides asphalt or concrete where the water will go through and we don't use very often, it would make sense. And it would be easier.
Possibly gravel.
Gravel, or they make some pavers with holes in, and there's different types of things.
You'll touch base with them next week and keep on.
Yes, yep, we're gonna, like I said, we expect next week to sit down with them before it goes out. Right?
Thank you. Okay, unless we have,
one thing to clarify. Just to clarify something on parking lot itself.
Talking to the mic.
That better?
Yes.
Just in order to clarify something on the parking lot itself. A new permit is not required to make repairs or resurface an existing permitted parking lot unless the parking lot is taken down to bare earth and rebuilt. If you take down to bare earth, it is looked at as a new lot and would need a new 62-330 permit, which, if we get the site permitted, the entire site permitted is the way we're working towards, that would be included in it. So what I'm saying is that will be included, but if we go to bare earth on it, we can't do it until we do get the permit. That's straight from DEP. That is not.
okay, thank you. Do I have anybody from the ADA task force, or I'm going to give their notes? No? Okay, Tammy Vogler is not able to be here tonight, but she's followed up. She was in touch with Michael Allen, who's an accessibility specialist for the Code Able Accessibility at Pensacola. He gave her some information, but he charges $1,900 to come out and do a proper survey. We have had in the past Sherry, who's come out for free and looked at the facility. Again, I think the main thing is we have to decide whether we are going to be fully ADA compliant, which is going to be very expensive, or whether we are going to pursue getting aids like the chairlift to help our disabled members. There is a difference, and I think maybe from day one, by calling it ADA, this has kind of caused more problems than anticipated. I mean, really the intention in the beginning was to get a chairlift. We had a friend of Tim Cass's come out in early April. He's an inspector and he went around the whole pool area. He pointed out the railings that were separated out and things like that. But he also looked at the facility, and I asked him, because there's been a lot of talk, if we had one chairlift, we would be forced to have two, we'd be forced to have this and that. If we had one thing, we'd be forced to have a lot of things. He said, no, we could just have one chairlift and just for our disabled members. You know, we're not a medical facility. I mean, if people can't get in and out, we're really not accommodating that. We're accommodating people who are mobile enough to be able to get themselves into the chair and get themselves out of the chair. Now, he was supposed to produce his report. He said that as far as everything else was concerned, the pool, he only had one item, and that was we covered up a little bit the sign that says how many is the maximum capacity, and then we needed another one on this side of just outside the door, and we did that. So really, we met all of his, all of his concerns. We had Glenn spoke to him too. You know, they had first aid training, and for some reason he didn't follow through with the report. But I'm going to Jan was getting Tim's number so we could track this guy down again. His name was Bob Corday, and he works at the Big Kahuna, which is they don't have a mailbox set up to be able to take messages, and they don't appear to answer the phone. So maybe Jan can get a better telephone number, and I'll undertake to get hold of him. As to whether we are a private or public facility, as far as the water treatment is concerned, big pools of this size in Florida are public pools, which means that chemicals have to be put in by somebody certified. But because we're an HOA and we are only allowing members and their guests to use the facility, and we're not charging for the usage of the pool, we are a private facility. And this is why we were really harsh, some felt, on the swim team last year to make sure that everybody came in with a guest pass, because we do not want to lose that status, because that status then forces us to be ADA compliant. I'm thinking, because when Tammy was here, we had a lot of contention. There was one particular member was very contentious discussion. It might be a good idea to get Sherry to come in and speak with the members and answer, their concerns. I mean, she's come twice and she's spoken with the ADA committee, but they don't seem to have the same concerns that the members do. So what I'm thinking is it might be a good idea too to get her to come and take questions. And then people with concerns will be speaking to somebody official, somebody with knowledge. Because we come back with the information and then there's a question we can't answer, and then the thing gets shelved again. We put out on the website an article from the attorney, and there was a section in it that she highlighted to say, what is the definition of a public and a private facility, and we really are a private facility. Now, Michael Allen found things that she had to mention when she came. This is Sherry, and this was before I went on vacation last year, so it's probably July, August, early August. She said that the bathrooms in the locker rooms were marginally too small, but only by, a couple of inches. But that was all right as long as we were not being strictly conferred to ADA. Obviously, the breezeway were too small, but, if there was somewhere that people could use the restroom, they could use in the locker room. He had a lot more things like access, not enough disabled parking, not enough disabled parking by the beach house, ramps and things like that. But again, I think we need to decide whether we're going to pursue it as purely something to make our facility accessible to disabled people. And, you know, I mean, as we get older, we might all have bad knees and whatever, may all need the chairlift to get in the pool. Are we going to pursue it for that, or are we really going to go, you know, full ball, become ADA compliant, which would be a considerable amount of money? So it's something to think about. I think between now and the next meeting, we will get some more information, and maybe somebody can come and answer the question. Yeah.
I have a question. Okay.
Yes, I said yes, sorry.
Our Florida.
Microphone.
Do you want to use mine or yours?
Our state license for pools says that we're public. How do we, is that just a mistake on the state's part, or is that they don't know how to qualify us, or what?
Well, according to, after the meeting when we had the member who disputed everything that Tammy said, I called Tallahassee and I called the county. And as I say, for the purposes of chemicals, a qualified person has to
I'm not
be-
asking about that.
I know, but for the purpose of chemicals, because we are a public pool. When I described what we were, and I said that was our license, he said as far as the ADA, he felt we were still a private entity.
Well, Florida cannot tell you about a federal requirement. I made the same phone call that you did, and I talked to the pool guy. They call him the pool guy. And what he said is that it'll be a cold day in hell before a HOA, Holly by the Sea, is considered a private pool.
What's his name?
I'd have to go look back on my notes. But
Or a private commercial pool?
that's what he told me.
Well, I've spoken to people in Tallahassee, in Washington, with the ADA, with this pool inspector, multiple day that we're gonna get a report from. This isn't what they say.
So
I mean,
the
that's
fact that
where-
we're a public pool in Florida's eyes does not qualify us as a public pool on a federal level. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
And as I say, as long as in the future, you know, we remember that when we have people, they should be guests.
Can we get on with the meeting?
Excuse me?
Get on with the meeting, this is taking forever.
I'm sorry you're bored, but this is, would you wish to speak?
I do have a comment.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we should look at it as an either-or situation. It's either all or none. I mean, I think a pool lift would be nice, but I think it'd be even nicer if they could get in the doors. I mean, I think we really need to look at the doors first, and it's nice that we have 2 inches to spare or whatever in the restroom, but they can't get in the door there either. So I think we need to start with access and then look at the other. I mean, it doesn't mean we have to go all the way ADA compliant, but we should at least try to make it usable for those members who are disabled.
Well, I actually have a note about the doors here, and this is from the guy, this is the free stuff she got without the $1,900 fee. He thought the back doors were closed to the force required to open, but he said they weren't bad. He agreed with Sherry that automatic door openers weren't needed. They're not required by the ADA, they're high maintenance and costly. I said if the doors don't meet the force requirement, this is typically addressed by adjusting the hinge box. And Tammy said she thinks that's the term he used, at the top of the door to adjust the force.
Well,
So,
I have seen plenty of our older residents standing there with both hands yanking on that door.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I
That's
think
what someone did,
it is, that's why I'm saying, I think we should get, Sherry back, we should clarify this. I think April, you know, somebody from the county that dealt with your association, your previous association. So I think what we need to do is to get some more information, get the report from multiple day. You know, it seems like we get people in, they say something different, let's consolidate what we've got and get some agreement.
Just because we don't have to, doesn't mean we should.
I agree, I agree with you. But I mean, I also don't think that unless we have to, we should start knocking walls down. The door's a different issue.
Can you clarify, please, the gentleman who is free, you said he works at Big Kahuna's? What are his credentials that qualify him to give ADA advice?
He is an inspector of pools. He was, Tim Carson came by and thought that we were not in compliance.
So he inspects pools, so he's not
Yeah.
ADA, so how would he, okay, I'll just leave it at that.
Because he has he inspects a lot of facilities and knows about what
But
is
he's not
required.
certified to inspect a building to determine if it's ADA compliant.
Right, but Sherry is.
Alex,
Yeah.
did I understand earlier that doing one thing doesn't mean we have to do everything? We don't suddenly commit to everything just because we decide, if we decide to do the doors for whatever reason, that doesn't commit us to doing, it's not a domino effect. You do this, uh-oh, you just admitted it, now you gotta go do all these
That
things.
would seem to be the case. But again, I think it's easy, I think it's better if we gather these experts, let them come in and answer the questions. You know, I'm just going from my notes. Okay. There's no old business, new business. Okay, I'm gonna deal with this greenbelt issue, which isn't on here.
That's at the end of the agenda, not the beginning.
Yeah, okay, I sent this round to the board at 3:30, so they've maybe not had time to look at this. Is that what you?
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it, okay. Okay, well, that's when I got it. John received a memo, that there was a vacation request, on Leisure Street, and for future county needs. Anything to do with Billy Williams, I think it's probably wise to let John Baldwin get involved. And, I would just recommend that we go ahead and get him to investigate it. We've got him on that, you know, retainer, he hasn't used it all. We already agreed upon that, just time to go ahead and see what they do.
I think we should.
Okay.
And he's, John Borderline contacted us, so he must think it's, worth keeping us informed and involved, so.
Okay, so I have a motion to just let him continue with
I make a motion that we allow John Borderline to continue representing us at the Billy Williams properties. Is that okay?
A second. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to keep John Woodward.
To allow John Borderline to keep investigating the Williams properties. The motion passed 4-0. Okay, and now we come to the decision to ratify the emergency replacement of the AC unit. April, would you like to take that one?
Okay, we have a contract with Engineer Cooling, as I talked about before. There are, in essence, two major components, which make up what they call the condenser for these units, the compressor and the coil. What's covered under the contract is the compressor. What Engineer Cooling said is wrong with the machine, besides being old, is that the coil is so bad that even if they were to replace the compressor, they would not warranty it because the coil would need to be replaced as well. So in essence, we had a couple of options. We throw away money to have them do a free job and replace the compressor that they won't warranty. We have them replace the compressor and the coil, and they gave us a quote for that, which was $12,500. Or we replace the whole condenser unit, which would then replace all the internal guts of the machine and then give us an additional 5-year warranty, and that cost was $14,700. So, we didn't move and go ahead and send this over because we want to do some additional research, look at what the cost was for a brand new machine, especially with the changeover coming up. I got a quote. We get credits back for the compressor under our contract, so their replacement cost was around $20,000 because it falls under their contract. I contacted 2 additional AC companies, and I only got a response back from one, Cool Breeze, and his quote for me was $34,000 for the total replacement cost for a whole new system. So it makes sense in my mind that we would go ahead and do the condenser part that we need to get the 5-year warranty. I pulled the reserve study, which is the GAB Robbins. Actually, everything was to be replaced this year anyway, so all of that would fall under our reserve funds that have already been allocated. So it was right in line with the replacement cost for this year anyway. So it's not out of the budget or the reserve portion.
And then in addition, whatever it's called, electrical cooling, I looked for other brands. This is a carrier. They looked for Train and Yorkwood and all the others. Yeah, and their availability was even longer than this. I think one was like 6 weeks. It will be past the summer for that. But I guess our plan now is what? The availability is, what was it, 10 to 12 days?
15 business days was the soonest.
Yeah.
And then it went on from there, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, soon.
But this is
Right.
that, yeah. So in practice, that's probably like 3 real weeks. Well, because they say business days, you know, I mean, you don't count. It's probably 3 weeks of this.
How much is the temporary cooling we have?
That one is $290 a week, and they gave us one for free. So we're getting 2 for $290 for a week.
Now, I did ask if you'd ever heard of, Jan had a suggestion about a Japanese type unit.
It's a Japanese type unit. Like that thing?
Okay.
It's small.
Okay.
Instead of going right that goes to the recognition bed or something. This one I just saw a smaller tube than that goes out in the window.
Yeah, that's like the big thing you goes each side.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
kind of
thought.
like that.
Right, and I sort of described it. He didn't really understand, hadn't heard of it, but he said he would also look. Because I told him that it was really in the office, it was just so hot. I think somehow the exhaust is coming back from the one in the office. I mean, we can't have another one, and they won't have room to move. But maybe at night we can open the door to the gym, run it, and maybe some school can kind of, get through. So, before we make a motion?
Or after you make a motion, my question is if we're doing a replacement, a 13-year-old, since that time technology is up, and I just had to replace my heat pump at the house, and I went from a SEER 10 to a SEER 16. Are we getting a more energy efficient unit if we do this
Instead of
replacement?
being a 30, it'll be a 32. So unless we do the whole big deal.
Yeah, you gotta replace, to get the big jump, you gotta replace both the outside and the inside stuff. We're only replacing the outside stuff?
The inside, it'll be the compressor and the coil, which makes up the condenser and the parts that are inside.
Right, and the condenser is the part that's outside.
Yeah.
or actually compressor's outside, the condenser's the part that's inside.
Condenser's outside of that.
Condenser's outside,
Yeah.
the evaporator's inside. Okay, gotcha. And then the other thing you're talking about is a mini split system. We've got some experience with that through the butterfly house. That's the outside system compressor is a standalone, and then instead of running it to the inside, it just goes to a unit that hangs on the wall. And it bypasses all the ducts. But
That's
I
the
don't.
mini-
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about. I think.
Right. Then mini split.
No, we were talking, let me clarify. There's the main air conditioner has to be replaced. Jan was talking about a temporary thing.
Oh, a temporary
Right,
instead
to
of.
replace that one in the office.
Okay.
She thought she knew a more efficient way to do it.
Okay, but
Can you get
again,
anything from that unit like that that's in the, where the
okay,
receptionist are?
so you're not talking about a mini split, permanently installing a mini split
You know,
system. Okay.
Something small like.
April, I just had a couple of questions because I wanted to be sure that I knew what you were talking about. You said it was $14,000 to replace the outside unit. We keep the inside air handler. It was $20,000 to do a complete replacement from the company we're doing business with today. Is that right?
Right.
What is the SEER or efficiency rating? I think you said 30 and 32. That has to do with the tonnage. I don't think that's the SEER rating. My question is, yes, we spent $8,000 more, but how much would we save in operational expenses if we got a more efficient unit? I mean, I know the units have come along pretty good, and so is there a difference in SEER rating between the repair slash, I mean, we're really repairing it with another like unit, keeping the same air handler inside and that sort of thing, or doing the complete replacement for 20 grand. There's an $8,000 difference. How much are we gonna, is there an efficiency difference in those units? And maybe in 2 or 3 years we would make up that. Plus, how long would the warranty be on the new unit?
Okay, well, if we get the replacement, the total new unit for $20,000, it's still going to fall under, because it's the R22 model. If we're replacing it exactly like that with a whole new unit, it's still going to fall under that 2020 thing where they're not going to make it anymore. So we would have to go completely outside of our contract to get a whole new unit.
Okay, so either way, we're not replacing the whole unit, either whether it's 20 or...
And I did ask him about the air handler, because that is separate pieces of the reserve, and he said that the air handler didn't need to be replaced.
Okay.
But don't we get a credit for the compressor even with the new unit?
We do, yes.
So it's, the new unit is less the credit for the compressor.
Right.
Right, so either way, we're not paying for that.
Jeff Heimel, I'm actually a refrigeration engineer.
Okay.
Do I understand that you're looking at replacing the condensing unit, staying with R22?
Yeah, the one that we have now, yes.
Okay. And they're not recommending changing out the refrigerant to a different refrigerant?
Well, he did tell me that in 5 years' time that we would have to, because they wouldn't be making them anymore.
Well, you can't buy R22 for new equipment today. So they want $14,000 for new condensing unit, $20,000 for a whole new system, which would probably be R410A.
I can let you look at this, because I'm not an air conditioning person. If you would like to. Since you are, maybe you can read the stuff here and read through what it says.
I mean, I won't read it up here, but this is basically to replace the condensing unit based on the credits, but they would still use the R22. Okay. Let me look at it, and it's interesting that they'll keep R22 back, because there are replacement refrigerants, but did he give you model numbers of new alternatives, or the same guy didn't quote you a new system?
Well, I have the model numbers and things that we have here, and what ton and what part is what and who makes them. Honestly, I don't know. I tell you, and I'll be honest, I don't want to speak to something I don't know. So I wouldn't even know enough about it to ask him that. All I know is it's been hot for a week and a half, and we need to figure out how to get the AC up and running. He didn't suggest anything different than replacing what we had, and he did tell me about the fact that we wouldn't be able to get anything beyond 5 years for what we have with R22.
Well, you can always retrofit refrigerants, that's not a problem. But do I understand this condensing unit is, lead time is the problem? They don't have this in stock?
They have to get it from the manufacturer and it's up to 15 business days.
Okay. Well, let me take a look at that and I can get in touch with you.
Okay, I've been asked for a 3-minute recess. Okay, we will stand in recess for 3 minutes.
They did that?